Hey guys, just going for a little walk before the premiere, and I'm starting to film the intro to part 2, and I just wanted to explain what the thumbnail was all about. Talking with Jack the other day, and he was garage sailing. Maybe I'll stop. He was garage sailing and he was looking at some things, getting out of his wheelhouse, and he goes, what would Jeff do in this situation regarding whether or not to buy something? And I just got such a kick out of that I just wanted to have a little fun with the thumbnail. Man, there are bugs out running down here. I swallowed a bug. That wasn't fun. Anyhow, stay tuned. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a few more reasons that I left out in the other one, and a few more stories that I have. And I'm going to share the video about a haul that I picked up the other day. I think I talked about it in the video. Had a really good score. Bought all these posters and these like prints and a lot of stuff, comic related collectibles that have been in storage since 2010. And got it all for a really good price. Got it all for $270, and I've already sold one thing out of it local. There were some garbage pail kits in there, like the oversized ones, and I took the 4 lowest and I just threw them up on Marketplace. I had to put them on eBay too, but I sold the 4 lowest graded ones, being some had creases and whatnot, just scratches. Sold those 4 for $30, and I think I have 24 or 26 more. They go anywhere from 6 to 15-ish, and maybe even a little bit more I've seen. And and they're in really, really high grade. There's a good chance that, and that was a throw-in. That was like something he just added in after the fact. That might pay for that whole lot. And there's probably over 500 posters and like things that have been in storage since 2010. So that was pretty. I'll be having fun with that for the next few months, because I can't get to it all right now because I got too much to do. So I'll show that in this video. You're gonna get to meet my one daughter in this video. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. I need to run home and make sure I'm not late to my own premiere. Hey everybody, it is Tuesday at 10 a.m. and you've seen the intro, and I have some other clips that I'm gonna attach. So as soon as I'm done with this little bit of an intro, I want to show you a video that I took yesterday of something that sold, which really illustrates the state of eBay. To me, this blows my mind. It blows my mind. And then after that clip, we're going to pick up in the video that I shot Saturday. So I just basically ran out of room. So there's maybe like 15 minutes of that. Then I have a few more things, in my opinion, that new resellers to eBay should know about what to expect on eBay. And a lot of these things kind of came to me when we were premiering the video Saturday night, in kind of like the back and forth conversation with viewers. Premieres are always fun. I really enjoy the interaction with you guys during those. If you haven't had a chance to get on one, I don't have any set schedule when I release videos, so you really just gotta, click that icon bell and do all that thing so you are notified when a premiere is. Normally I'll just premiere it pretty quick. So, and I got some stories. I got a couple stories now, probably some stories mixed in. I received a package. When was it? It was Saturday, or maybe it was Friday. Maybe it was Friday. So this is a cool story that had a happy ending, and there's still more endings to come. Back in December, I sold a Joseph Michael Linsner. He's a comic artist, and there's quite a bit of a cult following for his stuff, for the way he draws women. And this woman contacted me on eBay, and she wanted a discount on a comic, and it wasn't even like a crazy discount. It was like, I don't remember exactly, it was probably like a $25 book. She wanted like 25-30% off, and in exchange she was going to send me some. So she was an artist herself, and apparently she knew him, and she kind of had some stuff that was signed by him, and I was just like, yeah, done, sure. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, that's a great deal. You know, I'm knocking like, I don't even remember, like $7-8 off a book, and she's gonna send me some stuff. I'm like, you are aware I'm in Canada, right? And she was like, oh yeah, because she has a studio. She's like, I'll just write it off. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so, you know, I'm a very trusting person, so I sent out the package. She got it, and we had connected on IG. Literally, you know, weeks go by, I don't hear from her, and months go, like, so she contacts me, and she's like, I need more time. She's like, so she's got things going on in her life, and literally months go by. I message her, I don't hear from her, and I'm like, okay, you know, maybe I'm never gonna see this stuff. And you know, I had tried multiple times to get in touch with her. We actually did have some dialogue, and it just felt like there was always something going on that she couldn't do it. Well, anyhow, so you know, fast forward 5+ months later, I get the package, and it was remarkable because it was just that there was a comic in there, and then there was these other things that I'm going to show you. It was literally just wedged in there between two cardboard sheets, cut literally to size. There was barely, so for those of you who have packaged comics, this is unthinkable. No protective bag, no board, just wedged in there in an envelope, cut almost to perfect size, the cardboard. So any like drop or anything would have completely wrecked it. Remarkably, it arrives unscathed for the most part. Oh, and there was actually a time while we were talking when she was kind of saying how expensive it was to ship, and that it almost seemed like she was trying to back out of it. Anyhow, it worked out. So I got this. I can't show you the whole thing because there's actually nudity on it, which this actually kind of stinks because I can't sell this on eBay now. So I have it listed on HIP. But there are people. So this is actually a San Diego edition from 1999, and there's people listing this particular comic for 200 plus on eBay. I don't think they're going to get that, but it's interesting that it's that high. I think there's another person that has it for like 140 or 150. And then they had sent. So I listed that on HIP. That hasn't sold. What I'm about to show you right now, I listed last night. There's like 5 little pieces here. This sold last night. I listed it right before I went to bed, and I woke up and it was sold for $100. So it has this like kind of like foil card. That one was signed. This one is not. Dawn. It's the character's Dawn. There's this limited edition print by him that is signed. And then there's these 2 little. They are hand colored. So it says here, congratulations, you have just received a limited edition hand colored Dawn art card colored by Eva Hopkins. So Eva Hopkins is the girl's name. And so here's this one and this one. And then let's see here on the back. So yeah, so if you want to check out, I might as well give her a shout out. Luna Muse Studios is this particular person's name and website. Luna Muse Studio. can pay that forward that way. Anyhow, so that, and there were actually 2 of these in there. So I'm going to list the other one on HIP with that other comic. And so when I send this lot out today, I'm going to send this guy my link to my HIP comic store, because there's probably some things on there he's going to be interested in. But I just thought this was, I was shocked at how quickly it sold. And I was very happy with that whole transaction. As you can see, it was, heavily skewed in my favor. I could have gotten nothing either, too, right? She could have just never sent me anything. And that was a risk that I was willing to take. I do want to come back to the story in a second, but I want to tell about another risk that worked out too. And this illustrates the kind of seller that I am. Like this is kind of what things that I'm willing to do for my customers to let them have a good experience. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I actually have a shipper come to my place and kind of pick up my packages. And somebody bought a hat, an Edmonton Oilers hat on Thursday. And, oh, that reminds me, they're actually coming today. I normally just put the packages in my trunk and the driver picks it up. But now that Maria's back to work, I actually have to pay attention to when they're coming. But I don't know why I felt like sharing that. But so on Thursday, so I was watching the driver. It's in real time. He was like 15 minutes away. And I was like, I know I'm not going back to the post office probably until Monday. And I'm like, he bought it. He hadn't paid yet. This is key. He hadn't paid yet. I looked at the number beside his username, and it was like 1,000. And I thought, okay, he's not a newbie. I quickly checked out. All his feedback was great. Feedback left for others was great. Seemed like a stand-up buyer. So I'm like, okay, this is an Edmonton Oilers hat. They're in the playoffs right now because I know they're playing Vancouver Canucks. And I'm like, if I was him, I would want to get this hat as soon as possible for the playoff run. I'm like, I'm just going to mail it. It was $25 plus shipping. I'm just going to get it in the mail. Fingers crossed. He's not going to cancel. I do that. No payment Thursday, no payment Friday. On Saturday, I was like, I'm going to shoot him a message. I'm going to be like, hey, and I explained to him why I did what I did. And he literally paid within 2 minutes. So, I mean, he's probably going to be receiving it. He might even have received it by now, which there's a big difference between that now, because I believe that game 4 is tonight. And so Vancouver leads 2-1. Yeah, so there's at least going to be 2 more games. It's actually really fun being in a city when your team is doing well. I'm a Minnesota fan, so I've never been. I would love to be in Minnesota during like a playoff run. I think that would be so much fun, even though they find new and creative ways to destroy our hopes every year. I digress. But that worked out as well. And that's the kind of buyer that I am. I don't do that very regularly, but that worked out as well. Now, I want to go back to, before I end this, add the other videos, and then I'll do a wrap up at the end, because I do have I have a few more things I want to say. 8,000 items I have, over 8,000 items I have between 2 stores. The one thing that sells is the one thing that I listed right before sleep. Now, yes, one could say it's a desirable item. Also, it was very difficult to fit kind of like everything that it was inside the 80 characters that we have for the title. So, in my opinion, the title was not very specific, because I was trying to kind of like talk about each little item. So in my mind, I thought this might take a little while to sell, because it might take a little while for someone to come along and kind of see everything that is offered in that listing. Nope, sold overnight. Which and I don't think I talked about this, since I've switched my sleeping schedule, I'm up earlier. And I would rarely get any sales before 11 or 12. You know, we all used to get overnight sales, but it seems like now, well, I'm just going to say it. It feels like when you're asleep, your store is asleep. Does it feel like, is this just a me thing? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Did you used to get overnight sales? And do you feel that when you're not online or when you're asleep, that your store is asleep? Because I really do believe that. I mean, not believe that. I really do feel that way. And really, that makes absolutely zero sense. I mean, it's an e-commerce platform. There's always going to be somebody awake when you're asleep around anywhere, right? But now that I'm awake earlier, you know, I'm up at right around 7:45 now. You know, I can get up, I can check emails, I can answer emails, do like, you know, a couple rounds of resets. Kind of like, it's almost like you kind of got to wake your store up. And then, you know, you'll start to get the ability to send offers to watchers, maybe get some sales. But let me know what you guys think about that. Like, is that your guys' reality, or is that just me and a few other people that I've spoken with privately that kind of feel the same way? And then the other thing is 8,000 items, and the one thing that sells is, like I said, something that I just listed last night. It feels as if the algorithm is just not showing items which have been around for a while. It's like it just even if you end and sell similar, maybe it's found a way around that. Maybe eBay is just, you know, they're like, you know, the whole long tail thing. They're just no longer interested. So really what I do, I'm using eBay as like a platform to just kind of like house my items at this point. And you're going to get sales. It feels like, here's another thought that I had is, you know, we all got X amount of sales prior to April. Things changed. And sorry for the randomness of a lot of these thoughts. I mean, this is just how my mind works. But it feels like things have settled into like a range of like, this is what you're going to get in terms of, you know, impressions, page views, and sales and dollar figures. It feels like I've settled into a range of like $50 to $100 a day is all they're going to give me between the two stores, which is atrocious. But it's okay. It's okay because I'm finding ways to maneuver and, I'm building Etsy, building local sales have just really saved my hide. Like Sunday, I did $150 on eBay and I did $350 on local sales. It was just an insane day. And many of those items that I sold local were items that I also had on eBay. In fact, nearly all of them. Like I want to say I took down like 8 or 9 listings from eBay. And you know, one guy bought one thing and he ended up adding 5 more. That was $150 of the sale. I had listed some Power Glove sensors that I got from my brother-in-law for $85. I had them $85 local. I believe I had them $100 on eBay. I listed them Friday night. Within a couple hours, somebody messaged me local. So they really didn't even have a shot to sell on eBay. I took those down. So, I mean, that was $230. And then there was just like a handful of other sales. A lot of them had been scheduled. But I'm finding, to me, eBay is the best to be able to just keep the same process that I'm going, list it on eBay, and then figure out which other platform, because you're still going to get random sales on eBay. But yeah, I just feel like we're locked into a certain amount that we're going to get right now. Let me know what you guys think about that right now. I mean, yeah, you're going to have some really good days. Yesterday was a crap day. Yesterday I did like $23. Sorry, my battery's pretty much dead. Yesterday I did like $23 on eBay, and then $25 local, which you're going to see what that sale was, which really is going to encapsulate the true state of eBay, in my opinion. So I'm going to end this here, show that video, show the other ones, and then I'll come back and wrap it up. All right, guys, story time. Somebody on eBay bought these from me and then immediately canceled the transaction. They said that they bought them by mistake, which is fine. It happens. I had them listed for $20 on eBay. I decided to take them down off of eBay and list them locally. I've had them listed on eBay for at least 2 years. They were listed for $20, Canadian actually, because they were on Maria's Canadian side. $20 plus $7 shipping. I listed them on Marketplace tonight for $25. Within 3 hours, somebody claimed them, and they're coming to pick them up tomorrow morning. Now, eBay used to be a place where you go and you can find anything. I'm sorry, but this to me proves that either people are not shopping on eBay, or people can't find items that they're looking for on eBay. eBay is a global marketplace when they tout millions, hundreds of millions, or however many, hundreds of millions of buyers out there buying anything that they can want. But to me, when you can list something and it's sold in 3 hours, that says a lot. All right, number 4, things that you need to know if you're a new reseller considering eBay. And this is probably not just eBay. It's something that you need to be concerned with most platforms. And I'm just going to lump them all into, Veros, counterfeits, and policy violations. But things are always changing. And in fact, this actually reminds me of something that one of the representatives said to me. Be on the lookout for this kind of response. If you've ever called in eBay and you've talked to somebody and they tell you something that they believe is written in stone, I got a response to something. It felt like a blanket response, and I feel like it's a way that eBay can kind of get around procedural changes or things that representatives might say to you that if they were misinformed. He basically, I can't remember what I said, but the representative said something to the effect of, anything that you've been told before may be invalid because our policies and processes are constantly changing. I mean, it's smart. It's smart if that's kind of like their blanket response to protect themselves. So it's almost like a get out of jail card, right? Like, I would love to be able to say, whatever you've been told before may not be applicable now because our policies have changed, our procedures have changed. And so, it almost makes a case for, and that's why I called in when I did about this, the whole item not received thing, is because I knew how I was supposed to handle it, but I need to call in to find out if anything else has changed, right? Because I have to address it. I have to address it within the case, or I get dinged. So yeah, just know that those kinds of things, Veros, counterfeits, companies abuse those policies. They claim that things are counterfeit when they can't get them on the Vero brand list, and eBay just hangs us out to dry. Knock on wood, it's been over a year since I've had any issues with any of those things, but you will get at some point. I mean, unless you're extremely niched down and you're only selling like vintage ephemera, but even then, I mean, then you could get dinged with something that might be deemed as pornographic, or might be deemed as, not PC in the world. Or, I've sold patches, which are like state park patches, and they get taken down because they violate some governmental patch policy thing. It's almost like sometimes the weirdest things you're going to get dinged for, and it's almost like it feels like eBay could protect us, especially with Veros, a lot more than they do. And yeah, expect and that has only gotten worse over the last 2 to 3 years. I would say prior to that, it was, I mean, I don't think I've had a Vero prior to like 2021. So it feels like policies, and I know that a lot of these things are not, like, they're coming from government policies and things like that. And all e-commerce platforms are gonna have issues like that. But it would be nice if there was a platform out there that actually saw it from the seller's point of view and helped us avoid any issues, instead of just slapped a 3-day suspension on you or this and that for doing something wrong, but you didn't know you were doing it wrong. Let's pause this list here for a second, because there's something that I'm just remembering now that I wanted to talk about. You know what? I guess we could lump this as reason number 5. Let's do that. It has to do with feedback. It has to do with how feedback is becoming increasingly difficult to remove. It is still removable. I can't speak from personal experience of having a negative feedback and not being able to get it removed, because I've yet to have one, although I'm trying to mentally prepare myself because I know it's coming. And but I have had invalid neutrals that are just like complete bogus and made no sense, that they just refuse to. But crazy New York driver Joe, who he puts out some really good information. He is very real. I appreciate him. He says it like it is. Doesn't sugarcoat things. I appreciate that. He had a really interesting point the other day, because I know he has struggled with some feedback issues, and I think a viewer had sent something to him, or he. So recently, there has been in the FTC. So I'm looking at an article, and I'll link this article in the bio. So let's see here. I need to do Carl's and the FTC. So the title of the article is FTC proposes harsh penalty to combat rise of fake e-commerce reviews. Now, it's possible that I didn't read it all, but this could have some impact. Like, basically, the FTC is trying to crack down on companies removing, fake, or not removing negative things about their company and trying to make their company look better than they are. I think that's kind of essentially the gist of it. And it's possible that eBay is interpreting this, or maybe they've been advised to put a crackdown on removing any kind of negative feedback because they don't want to be seen as a company that is doing that. They don't want to be singled out by the FTC. It's possible. Does that excuse invalid feedback from not being removed? Absolutely not. If the buyer is leaving false, derogatory, or defamation, all of that should be removed 100%. eBay should have our backs. We should not feel like I feel that I know a negative is coming that I'm probably not going to be able to get removed. That is just a crappy feeling. It's like this ominous black cloud that is out there somewhere. I can't see it yet, but I know it's coming. We shouldn't feel that way. And as a new reseller, just know that is a reality that you're going to have to face. Okay, reason number, what are we at here? 6. Recently, on the eBay earnings conference call, there was a question that was asked at the end. And I always find the Q&A section, in my opinion, the most interesting. There were actually a lot more questions this time. The question had to do with how is eBay either distinguishing themselves, or how are they retaining their sellers from going off and selling on other platforms. So I kind of feel like the person in question that was asking was kind of like, his concern was about cross-listing and what eBay is doing to prevent that. And Jamie's response was, I think there were 3 things. One of them had to do with international shipping. It had to do with how eBay allows its seller. He was basically touting how eBay allows sellers to access a global marketplace. And then there was another one that I can't remember, but the first one that he said, I couldn't believe he said it. He said that eBay allows sellers to build a brand on eBay. Now, in theory, I suppose he's right, but I don't really feel like I'm allowed to build a brand, especially when I'm given so little visibility. What is the point of having a store, paying for a store, filling your store with unique and cool items, but then the item's not being shown? So it's like, and then to build upon the previous point about feedback, eBay allows buyers to just come in and defame us with wild accusations in the feedback, and allowing them to leave neutral and negative feedback that are oftentimes grossly exaggerated at best and just outright lies at worst. So if eBay truly believes and feels that they allow us to build a brand, then they should be vehemently helping us protect our brand name, our brand's reputation. And I just thought that was a bit of an answer that I was kind of like, what? Like a head scratcher. Okay, reason number 7. After this one, I'm gonna have to think a little bit more, see if there's any more that I want to add. If you're thinking about selling on eBay, you better know that you're gonna need to be listing on other sites. whether you use some sort of cross-lister, whether you do, eBay and local, you're gonna want, eBay is not the only game in town anymore. eBay cannot rely on its reputation to continue in this in the e-commerce playing field. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you cannot rely on them to you just can't. I'm sorry. I held off as long as I could. I know many other YouTubers resisted for as long as they could, but you're gonna have to, at minimum, probably pick at minimum 3, maybe even 4 different platforms to pick from. I mean, I sell on eBay, Etsy, District. I can't really say I sell on there. I list on there. Marketplace, Craigslist, Carrot. Is that it? Am I missing something? As an interesting experiment, if you care to leave a comment, on top of the comment of other things that I'm missing that new eBay sellers need to use, leave a comment what platforms you sell on. Let's pretend that this video was being shown to eBay execs, shareholders, and brand new resellers considering joining eBay for the first time. Like, show the shareholders how many different platforms. Like, to me, this is the point. To me, this is the best use of this channel at this point. Yeah, I could take you all out with me garage sailing. I could take you all out to meet to the thrift stores. That's not going to help you. I mean, yeah, you might find a few things to buy, but if you buy those things, they might not be sold because they might not be seen. I don't even have to necessarily be making this kind of content because I could just be spending this time listing, right? I could just be spending this time sourcing or listing. Hey, Ash, yeah. Come here. Shut the door. I'm going to introduce you. You want to go on camera real quick?
Sure.
It's not live.
Okay.
So, okay, sit down.
Okay. It's hot.
Yeah. This is my youngest daughter.
Hi.
Ashley.
Hi.
What,
Who's this for?
This is going to go on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Do you have any funny reselling stories that you want to share? No, I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know. I hear a lot of stories of like when you go in our co-op, there's like this recycling and garbage area. And sometimes I think the funniest stories are when you go there and there's something there, just anything, someone threw it away or whatever. You take it back, you look it up, you post it, and then you make like $20 or $30. And I'm just like, someone just threw that away literally into the garbage. So I don't know. There's a lot of those. Those happen all the time.
Yeah. Well, there's money everywhere.
Well, one person's drunk, another person's treasure, obviously.
So what are you here to do?
I'm here to drop off a bunch of things, Sarah's stuff.
Sarah is so I had mentioned in this video how Sarah's going to be coming to stay with her.
Yes, yeah. So that's my younger sister who's graduating high school this year, who was living with me for the past 2 years, is coming to live with Jeff and my mom.
So Sarah is her bio dad's child.
Yeah.
So
different mom,
same dad, and I raised you and your sisters.
Yep.
And now I'm raising his other kid.
Shut up.
I can't get away from this guy, you know.
Yeah.
But do you think Sarah's gonna try to weasel her way into my videos?
Oh yeah. Sometimes she'll just be walking. She'll just walk and kind of be like, she likes to be the center of attention, so
yeah,
it makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna pause this. And I'll help you.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm gonna zip through these last kind of things that I really do believe that new people new to eBay really need to know the truth about reselling on eBay right now in its current state with the current management and the changes that they have made to the platform. I believe these are all it's the reality. So, and I'm done kind of like counting with numbers. I don't really care anymore. Like at some point, it's like okay, it is what it is. Yeah, you're gonna have to do end and sell similar, and if people don't know what that is, just Google, just go on YouTube, type in eBay reset. You'll see my video. You'll see other people's videos talking about end and sell similar. You pretty much have to do that now, almost to kind of like wake up the store. It's almost like just this added extra maintenance that we have to do, and whether you reset your entire store, whether you do partials, that's a debate. Personally, I feel that they've changed that to make it less effective. Why? It doesn't make any sense. It would make sales, and it would sorry, I'm just writing out something I want to remember to touch upon at the end. It generates sales for us, which generates sales for eBay. I don't know why they would take that away. It's anti-business. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, people, you have to list. You have to feed that machine. I mean, people talk about, going on vacation or not keeping up some sort of regular listing, pattern. And if you don't, then it feels like your store goes more dormant than normal. I mean, I don't know from personal experience, because there's never really any time where I'm not kind of constantly, I just kind of plug along. I'm like a turtle. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a listing machine like some people. And I'm even more slow now because I have to kind of methodically plan out which platforms do I think I'm going to get some visibility on. I'm still trying to create new processes and things like that, just to, I'm always trying to think long term, not just short term, even though when you're in survival mode, which for the most of us we've been in since for the last, now we're going on 13 months. I do feel that I'm coming out of that. I do feel even with a dramatic, I mean, my account's down, the numbers say 5.5% year over year on my account. I haven't checked Maria's. I'm not going to check now. It's probably around there, give or take, but I'm more than making that up with local sales. And I feel that I see so much room for expansion, and just like seeing items that I have on eBay, just thinking, okay, you know what, this is going to sell local. It's like I have new eyes when it comes to reselling, where before I was just like eBay. Everything I bought was to put up on eBay, even things that I probably shouldn't, because in my mind I think, okay, there's and I'm good at what I do. I'm good at finding and curating unique items, but if nobody knows you have them, they're not going to sell. But I was just eBay focused. Now it's like, maybe I'll put it on eBay, but definitely on these other platforms, or things that I would never ever think to list anywhere else. Like, it never even would have crossed my mind. So you do have to list. You do have to feed that machine, and you're almost, it almost makes you feel that you're just a cog in that machine, and that if you think you're doing eBay to be your own boss, that's only a half truth. you will work for eBay. And another thing is eBay requires much more work. It requires much more maintenance now. It requires much more, I guess, just work. It's more time consuming. Everybody, so many people have left comments on how eBay is just more, some people say list and forget it is done. To some sense, yes, it is. To my business plan, my business model, that is my business model. I'm not going to change. Some will say that I'm a dinosaur and that blah, 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 but that's my business model. Yeah, I will do, and it's so similar to some degree. I really even want to start doing less and less of that. I have a theory that it might actually be harmful to your store at this point, like doing it too much. I don't know what that balance is. I've also not really been able to see any patterns because at the end of last month, I basically had to stop doing end and sell similar from like the 23rd on. But I was still doing it on Maria's store, and it felt like my store not doing it was like my store. I had a really good last 8 days of last month on my store, and it just got me thinking like maybe doing too many resets is actually, maybe there's something in the algorithm which triggers that if an item has been ended X amount of times. So there's some people who feel that if an item is listed for 90 days, after that the algorithm deems it to be dead, not sale worthy, an unuseful item. Maybe and I just thought about this right now. Maybe there's something in the algorithm that if an item ends X amount of times and is either relisted or sell similar, and maybe eBay has found a way to close that gap for AI between what it means to be relisted and what it means to be sell similar. Maybe they lump that in the same category now, whereas before, if you relisted it, it didn't have the oomph that a sell similar did. So maybe they've found a way for the AI or the algorithm to recognize that if you sell similar, it's the same. I don't know. I'm just talking here. I'm just talking here to spur conversation, to spur you guys to think and run with it, and then maybe comment, and then another person can comment on that. That's just kind of what I do. But then also maybe if you end an item X amount of times, eBay, the algorithm recognizes it as not really being, a useful item, and they lump that into that category of not a good item, so they're not gonna show it. And them not showing items is not eBay conspiracy. They say we have the right to just not show items, and that's why I've joked is that eBay is where listings go to die right now, because right now that's kind of what it feels like. Okay. Another thing that is important is, and this was Maria's idea, and I mean, this is just smart business. Be organized. Be really, really organized. Plan ahead for expansion. And the reason I say this is because we're dinged so hard for selling an item that's out of stock. It's actually remarkable. It has been like I had one last November that I just couldn't find. And that was before I really knew how much of an impact that has on your account is if you sell things out of stock. Prior to April of last year, I was oblivious to kind of a lot of the things that is common knowledge now. But and then it wasn't until months after that I really started to implement my own kind of organizational strategy. But have something in place. Have something in place, even if you don't plan on getting big. Because I didn't plan on having a lot of items, and it just kind of grew very organically for me. Okay, story time. And this is how if you are a true reseller, like slash hustler. Saturday night, was it Saturday night? No, Friday. It was Friday night because I had a good Friday. Yeah, for local sales. I was going, so Maria, she had work. She started work at noon, and then because she was going to do half at her job and then half at like a something for work. So I knew that I was picking her up around 7 or 8. Somebody messaged me about this IKEA, these IKEA curtains that were $60, and I knew that I was just leaving, and like if I get somebody who is interested in something, I'm gonna do everything I can to close that sale. Like that's just me. I want to close sales. So I messaged them and I'm like, hey, pickup is here, but I'm going to be in this area. Let me know where you are. So I literally grabbed the curtains, threw them in the trunk. And this is my thought process. I'm like, you know what? Maybe they'll be somewhere along the way where I'm going to be that I can make that sale. I picked Maria up. We had a very nice Italian. We went for Italian because I'm watching Ripley on Netflix, and takes place in Italy, and it just got me like in the mood to want to eat some Italian food. And we went to this really nice place. During dinner, they messaged me. They literally lived like 2 miles from where we're at. On the way home at 9 p.m., stopped off, made that sale. I mean, that's the pure definition of a hustler. Just like, doing everything that you can do to close that sale. That's this guy. And I think this is the last kind of like things that, like the true reality of eBay right now is that you need to list way more than you think to make sales. Like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I have 8,000 items. I mean, how many times have you heard people say, like, if they have X amount of sales, they want to double that, they're going to list double. They're going to list double how many they have. I mean, we all know that doesn't work, but the true reality is, unless you're selling high sell-through iPhones, high sell-through massagers, or whatever, you're going to need to list way more than you think you do to close, to make sales, to make any kind of, I mean, I know there's people out there that are doing well, but in my opinion, they are in the minority. Consistency is just something that is not, and I know people are hurting. I know people in the economy are hurting because, local sales, I get people who are maybe not lowballing, but like trying to deal and haggle and get every last little bit that they can get off. But yeah. All right. I think that's just about it. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna stop the video, do a few more things, and come in for any closing thoughts. All right. One last thing that I want to share before I say goodbye is I was comping something. I can't even remember what it was, but I was comping something on one of my other stores, or I viewed an item from one of my stores. I viewed an item on my other store. Anyhow, what had happened was eBay, no, the I got confused. I'm doing a horrible job of explaining this. Essentially, I sent an offer to myself. No, I didn't do it. eBay sent an offer to my other store from my other store. So it was like a seller initiated offer, and then I got it, and I had listed that item that day. like within the hour. And I almost got confused because I thought somebody was making an offer on that item, if that makes sense at all. And then I'm like, wait a second. I sent that offer to myself? It was very confusing. But it just reminded me that, you know, we all question the impressions and the page views, and you know whether they're good impressions, and like I don't really trust a lot of the information in the back office, but I really don't like the fact that we're getting offers not from people who have added an item to the watch list. So we're sending out offers to people who we think have genuine interest in the item, and it just could be somebody comping. And I don't like that. I don't like that because it feels like I'm wasting my time. It feels like eBay is wasting my time when it comes to, you know, when I get the ability to send an offer to a watcher, you think that it's somebody who's actually interested in buying your product. And I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is. I used to send out like customized messages to people, you know, depending on if they were buying a comic. I would like let them know, like you know, you can add what items you could add to your order if you purchase this and get free shipping. You know, if it was pins, patches, and buttons, I would customize it. If it was anything over £1, I would let them know they could pretty much almost get free shipping on anything else that they added. Like I would customize it that way. You know, no, obviously I didn't like type each one out. I had cut and paste messages, but even that takes time. Like if you wake up and you've got 8 or 9 items to send out, you've got to do them all separate. Now I'm just like, it just feels like a waste of my time doing that. Like, do you guys feel that way? Because I really do. If they were genuine people, if all of them, 100% of them were people who actually add in an item. Actually, you know what I think? It should be somebody who has actually gone to your page, viewed the item, and added it to your watch list. In my opinion, those are the only people that we should have the ability to send an offer to as a seller. Because there's a couple different steps there that have happened. It's almost like a qualifying. It's almost like that buyer has been qualified to receive an offer. And you stand a much higher chance of converting that into a sale. Especially if you're customizing, you know, your message to them, you're taking the time. It's just, you know, we do so many extra things right now that we have to, and then we think that we actually have like a potential buyer on the line. You know, it's like we're fishing, and I don't know. I don't like that. It feels manipulative because I don't know, 50% of the people, 50% of the offers that we send out may not be actually going to people who are genuinely interested in our items. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'm gonna take off. I think I'm getting close to that threshold where I start to have problems uploading. If you're still here, I really do appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a positive, leave a negative if you don't like this video, but let me know why you don't like the video. Like, don't just thumbs it down. Like, let me know. Engage. Don't be like one of those thumbs downers and you know, maybe you don't like my voice. Maybe you don't like my shirt. Maybe you don't like my haircut. And then you thumbs down. But say that, just so I know. So anyhow, guys, peace and blessings, and we will talk to you guys soon. Later.